Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, joined by Ohio State wide receiver Garrett Wilson here at the Panini VIP Player Lounge here in Los Angeles ahead of the Super Bowl. Garrett, I gotta ask you a question real quick before we get started talking ball.
Yeah.
Saw something on Instagram, you out of Topgolf.
Yeah.
And you sent the club, but not the ball. Yeah. So I wanted to know how many times you've been to Topgolf, and when's the next time you're planning on going to Topgolf?
So what's crazy about that is I told him to get it on video because I was hitting the ball real well.
Yeah.
And probably had about like 4 good swings in a row and got warmed up, and then under the pressure I cracked. That's what happened. So I'm actually not too bad. You know, that was kind of a freak thing. My hands are sweaty and all that, but you know, I try and go pretty often. So I love Topgolf. I'll probably go again here soon just to redeem myself type of thing.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, one thing that we don't have to worry about with you is this Ohio State lineage of wide receivers that you're continuing on with your journey to the NFL. And you think about some of the guys that have come through in recent years, and obviously now this year with you and Chris and Jackson next year.
Yeah.
There's this really strong lineage of Ohio State wide receivers transitioning into the pros.
Yeah.
What does that heritage mean to you guys in that locker room, or in that wide receiver room?
Yeah. I mean, it's everything. You know, we're so competitive in the way we are. Like, none of us wanted to run from that, you know? So everyone at Ohio State that's there in that receiver room right now chose to be a part of that, and, you know, chose to be a part of that knowing that it's a lot of competition in there, and knowing that there's no guarantees, you know? So it definitely means a lot to carry it on, and, you know, have someone like Chris with me. You know, he was a year older than me when I came in, and, you know, for him to show me the ropes, and then for me to be able to show someone like Jackson or Marvin, you know, some things, you know, it's been really awesome, really special.
So Garrett, when you look back at your time at Ohio State, obviously a lot of production, a lot of big moments. Is there something that you're most proud of from your time as a Buckeye?
You know, obviously when I came into Ohio State, I wanted a national championship, and you know that's what I said I would, you know, be a part of, and I wanted to be a part of that. And we had a chance at it against Alabama, and they were a really good team, and you know that was what it was. But you know, I'm definitely proud of the way I conducted myself while I was there. You know, just the like I said, you know, the ability to have someone like Jackson come in and be as open to learning as he was, and you know, making sure that the tradition continues on, you know. So obviously Jackson doesn't need too much coaching or nothing like that. I mean, that's some of the best talent I've ever seen. But you know, for him to be like he was, it was definitely special, and you know, I'm proud of that.
Garrett, I was hoping you could share a little bit about what Coach Hartline's impact is on you guys.
Yeah.
And he played in the league and put up a couple 1,000-yard seasons, but I don't think anybody's going to confuse Coach Hartline for like this A1 top of the first round caliber athlete. He won with the intellectual side of the game and the route running side of the game. Do you get that sense from him as a coach and how he teaches you guys?
Yeah, I mean, when Coach Hardy came in, he had probably been 3 or 4 years out of the league, and you know, for me being someone that likes to learn visually, I mean, it was huge, you know, because he could show me everything that he wanted us to do on the field. You know, he could really show us and run the route that he was telling us to run and do the drills that we were doing. So, you know, having something like that, and then also, like you said, the intellect that he has and the understanding for the game. I mean, he has a lot to do with, you know, the past concepts we have in going week to week, and you know, being a receiver and really understanding the offense instead of just running the offense. You know, that type of thing. So, you know, he really helped out with all of that, and Coach Hart, you know, I owe him a lot of my success at Ohio State.
So Garrett, we got a lot of good receivers in this draft class. You're one of them, one of the best. What do you think it is about you and your skill set that makes you different than a lot of the other top talents in the rising class?
Yeah, I think I can do it all. You know, I think I can, you know, really go inside and outside and go up and get the jump ball or catch a screen and make someone miss, that type of thing. You know, I think that, you know, there's definitely a lot of things I want to work on, but I don't think I have any strong weaknesses in my game. So, you know, I definitely got to show that over these next couple months, and hope to show that once I get in the NFL as well.
So, with that in mind, you know, Kyle and I, we're the draft dudes. We like to scout football players, and so let's put you in that spot. You're scouting football players, and you have to pick a wide receiver. What are some of the top traits that you're looking for when you're thinking about picking a wide receiver for an NFL team? What are some of those top traits that are most important to you?
You know, at the end of the day, the receivers, you got to catch the ball. So, you know, competitive excellence is what we call it at Ohio State, and that's kind of what's ingrained in my mind to call it, which just means, you know, when your number's called and the ball's thrown your way, do you make the play? And, you know, I think that's the most important thing when it comes to a receiver. You know, as far as how open you were when you caught it or if the dude was right on you, it really doesn't matter. If you make the play, you know, that's probably the most important thing when it comes to receiver. And then just the ability to be a security blanket for your quarterback and how often are you open, when are you open on third down, in clutch moments and at the end of the game, stuff like that, So some of those players come to show up at the end of the game, or they don't. We don't call it anything, but they resort back to their training at the end, and whoever does that the best, that's huge.
Garrett, one of the big debates that we like to have in talking about wide receivers is it's a situational football thing. It's you get down in the red zone, right? And everything's a lot more congested. And there's this debate with a lot of evaluators that talks about size versus separation and the value of each one in the red zone. And for me, I thought one of the areas that you really showed a lot of growth from 2020 to 2021 was your ball skills and how you adjusted your body to the football in flight. And as a guy who's not a bigger guy in the red zone, how do you attack those instances when you know it's more congested, there's less room to work? How does your skill set amplify your ability to make plays in those congested areas?
Yeah, I think I owe that a lot to basketball and just getting rebounds and stuff like that, just ball skill things. So I think that's what I do best is go up and get the jump ball. And, in the red zone, like you said, it's hard to score touchdowns, so who can go and make that play in a congested area, and that's huge, and I think I do that. As far as getting more open and stuff like that, like I said, I think if you make the play, you made the play. But I feel like I can do both, so that type of thing, where if I'm covered, I can make the play and get more open on a route if he gives me leverage and stuff like that. So
Garrett, one thing that I noticed when I watch you play is it legitimately feels like the game slows down for you at the catch point. When that ball's coming, whether there's people around you, no matter what, like you're dialed in, there's a lot of focus, and I'm quite honestly surprised by a lot of the catches you're able to make. Where does that come from? I mean, is it just reps, just familiarity catching the football? Like, how do you get yourself to that point?
It's hard to train that, it's hard to train in practice, going up and getting the jump ball, because when you practice throughout the season, you're trying to keep everyone healthy. And, jump balls and stuff like that, most people, someone ends up on the ground, someone ends up falling. So I can't say we train that, but like I said, basketball, was something that I took really serious from honestly, from when I was born, being in a basketball family, and I think it translates to football really well. So, I say I owe that mostly to basketball.
Garrett, what was the experience of a quarterback change like for you, from playing with Justin to then transitioning to playing with CJ, and felt like you guys really caught your stride after the first couple of games? What was that reps and chemistry experience like for you to try to get yourself to operating at optimum level, where you can make a lot of those body adjustments at the catch point, which we saw you make this year?
Yeah, I was blessed to play with two great quarterbacks in college, and that's not something every receiver can say, So with having Justin and then going to CJ, CJ was really special. But, there is a learning curve with all that, and he was young. So, and he wasn't healthy either. So starting the season off, we had our hiccups, and, we lost to Oregon. And we missed some plays. I left some plays on the field, but that was the growing pains that comes with it, So you saw CJ take those strides throughout the season, and obviously, being a receiver, that stuff helps everyone in the offense, when we can run the ball and, stretch the field, stuff like that. And by the end of the season, I feel like we were doing that at a high level.
So one of the things you mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned running the football.
Yeah.
And there's some of these offenses, especially the Shanahan tree of offenses, they put that emphasis on running the ball, and they really drill to their wide receivers the importance of doing some of the dirty work, right? Like, you get rewarded with getting the football because you're throwing that block on that safety to help spring those explosive runs. That's something I saw in your game too. Ohio State ran a lot of inside zone and really tried to get the ground game established. So how is that something you take a lot of pride in being able to stay involved in the game even if you're not touching the ball? And I guess that extends to having Jackson and Chris as the other pass catcher, and Jeremy at tight end too.
You got to be able to do it all. That type of thing is, you got to know that you're blocking and it's going to help you later in the game. So we all got to be unselfish enough to throw a block for a running back and spring him for a touchdown, but also know that if he goes for 20 yards, that's helping us when we do the play action, when we want to throw the big shots. So that's the mindset I try to keep throughout the game, and I think I did a good job of that this past season and throughout my career at Ohio State.
That's going to do it for us here. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, Garrett Wilson at the Panini VIP Players Lounge here in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl. Garrett, really appreciate your time. All the best to you, all right?
Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for having me.
Thanks, Garrett. Enjoyed it.